What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Reviews with Ty the Bourbon Guy. We got no official name to it, and it's all good. We don't need one. Basically, what I'm going to be doing along this journey is basically reviewing whiskeys, less about the score, more about the experience. I understand that a lot of people are new to whiskey, and I understand that there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of bottles out there. There's a lot of companies that are competing for your business. And part of that means that they're going to market a certain way. And maybe sometimes those whiskeys live up to that expectations and sometimes they don't. So I'm going to try to be as honest as I can about whatever it is that I'm tasting and just let you know what my preference is. Basically, the easiest way I would say to know for sure is to try it yourself. If you can get to a bar, if you can go to a liquor store that does samples, if you can do bottle shares or try a friend's or whatever it is, sometimes those are the best ways to figure out what you like and what you don't like. And if you do find something that you like, maybe somebody that's been into whiskey for a while can help you figure out where to go from there. So with all that being said, regardless of what my score is, regardless of what it is that I'm tasting, all that stuff, try what you want to try. And if you like it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But today we're going to be looking at Old Forester 1920. Now this is part of the Whisky Row Series from Old Forester. Was released a few years ago, and when it was, this bottle was actually the first one that I tried in the series. And the proof is actually what got my attention at first. It's 115 proof. Label, just to me, it's kind of some of the marketing side of it. It's a prohibition style. Obviously the year 1920. There's just a lot of the marketing side, but I do think that what's in this bottle speaks for itself. Again, the proof is at 115. This is out of Old Forester, obviously a Brown-Forman product. And, like I said, came out to the market, has become very popular. And I think sometimes you see whiskeys that are on these top 10 lists or, whether it's for beginners or whether it's value bourbons or whatever it may be. And sometimes, in my opinion, some of those whiskeys on that list can be trends. There's, somebody likes it, then another channel picks it up and another Instagram picks it up or whatever it may be. And then everybody tries to go along with this trend. And sometimes I look at bottles and just don't agree with what's on those lists. This bottle, however, I think is on that list because it deserves to be on that list. Before I talk too much about it, because obviously I've had this whiskey before, I do think it's a great value, even at its price point. So before I continue on, let's taste it. So you can see the whiskey in the glass here. Great color. To me, it's a great color. It's a darker whiskey. I don't really get into all the, well, this is copper or this is more caramel. It's a darker whiskey, right? And with bourbon, for those that may not know, you cannot add coloring. So whatever that color is within that whiskey, that is what it is. So man, right off the nose, it's all your traditional notes, I would say. So oak, vanilla, caramel, there's a little bit of spice in there, a little bit of honey. But to me, sometimes within a whiskey, you can pick those scents up, those notes, but they're somewhat faint. To me, this has depth to the nose. So those flavors exist, but they're heavy notes, I guess, if that makes sense. They're turned up a little bit. And of course it goes through on the palate. The proof is 115. This bottle has been open for a little bit. You could feel the heat, but I don't know that it would turn off somebody that's new to whiskey that's not used to the heat. Somebody that's just getting into whiskey still might want to add water, still might want to add an ice cube because it is warm, but there's whiskeys that I've had that melt your face off, and then there's some that are just warming. And this one, to me, is just a warming whiskey. This would be perfect for the winter time. I live in Indianapolis where it feels like it snows all the time. And this would be perfect for one of those days, one of those cold days, snowy days, by the fire, whatever the case may be. This would be perfect for that situation. And so, again, the notes, I can explain all those things of what it tastes like to me, but at the end of the day, this whiskey is a very good whiskey to me. And so, you know, the notes of all those common tasting notes that I just said are present. They're all turned up. The proof is at 115 proof. I actually got this bottle on sale for $45. $45 for this product in a world where I've seen bottles that aren't anywhere close to this quality sell for 100 plus. To me, when you talk about value bourbon, it shouldn't always be about what's below $20 or what's below $25. Sometimes a value bourbon could be at a higher price range. I think traditionally you see this about $60, $70, depending on where you live. But again, I've seen this on sale in different places for $45. And when that happens, I stock up because I know this is a whiskey that I'm going to go back to time after time after time, regardless of all the other ones that I try, all the other whiskeys that may be sent to me or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go back to this. And when it comes to, I don't like the term influencers, but the people within the whiskey world that have some type of social media presence, whether that's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be, a lot of the times when they're sent something, they're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about how great it is. But I'm always curious, did you spend your own money on that? And when I find this bottle for $45 a bottle, especially when I find it for $45 a bottle, I'll go definitely spend my own money on it and most likely buy a case of it at that price. So to me, that's the important part. Is somebody going to, you know, spend their own money on a product, not just something that's sent to them and then they say that they love it just because it was sent to them, but yet they don't go buy it on their own. To me, that's a big tell whether that's a true, really good whiskey or a true value within whiskey. But again, to me, this is a fantastic value, even at a $60 price point. So I'm going to go back in for another sip. Fantastically done. I don't know that fantastically word. It's a word today. I don't know. Again, somebody that's new to whiskey, that proof may turn you off. Some people are new and enjoy the proof. But if it does, if it is something that you don't want that burn, that warming, the Kentucky hug as they call it, because the finish does go for quite a while for me. I would suggest an ice cube. It could be a block of ice, whatever it is. Or let's see what happens when we add a drop of water. So it always surprises me when I look at whiskey, because with Scotch, really I would say any other type of whiskey, is very common to see people adding water. With bourbon, there's this sense of the way it came out of the barrel is the way that it's supposed to be, you know, whatever the proof is on the bottle is the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. I get that logic, but I also think that when you add water, sometimes those flavors can open up. There are times where things mellow back down and that flavor kind of goes away with adding the water. But then I think there's some times where it's the opposite effect. It opens up the whiskey and some of those flavors are unlocked almost. And there's flavors maybe there the second time around that weren't there the first. So that's where, to me, it's kind of fun. Explore that whiskey, explore that bottle, and just see, is this one that I think would be the key word, that I think is better with water, or is this one that I think is better on its own? So I've added just a couple drops of water. And I think within the couple of drops, I think it brings the warming down a little bit. Still warm, by definitely. So again, if you don't like the burn or you don't want it to be as hot, and adding some water to it might be your jam. I don't think you lose the flavors. It's not, when I talked earlier about the depth of the flavor. So I feel like if that flavor is, has some deep flavors to it, maybe it's starting to come up, but it's not watered down by any means. Flavors are still present. It just helps to bring that proof down just a little bit for somebody that may not enjoy it at 115. I will say that's the thing that I do enjoy about higher proof whiskeys myself, is if I don't enjoy it at that higher proof, I can add water and bring it to a proof point that I enjoy. But if I start with a bottle that's 80 proof, I can't go higher, right? So if I feel like that's too watered down, I can't go the other direction. But if I get a higher proof whiskey, I can bring it back down. I know a rule of thumb that a lot of people use is that if it's over 100, maybe to start trying to add water. My suggestion would be to do it with any whiskey. I've had lower proof whiskeys that I added water to, and I felt like it actually opened it up some. So, definitely look at it. And I will say, I don't really have a set scale. I just say whether I like it or not, and we're going to figure out what the score is. I think for the value, there's a little bit of marketing behind this bottle, but nothing terrible. It's readily available. I think it's just about in every liquor store that I've been to. Again, I've been able to find it at $45, but even when it's not on sale at $60 price point, I'm still buying this all day long. So I think, oh man, I think we're gonna go with a score of a 92. So this whiskey is very well done, very good job, Old Forester. It's on several lists. Everybody in the world has reviewed this whiskey, but I thought this was a good starting point in terms of a review, because this is such a, it's weird to call it a classic. It's still a relatively new product. But I think you just hear this name a lot, and you see this bottle a lot, especially when people are asking, what should I be looking at, or what are some bottles? I'm new to whiskey, whatever. This comes up all the time. So I love the warming piece of it. I love the flavors in it. It's very rich. It has depth, and it's available. It's available at a solid price. I'm not gonna pay $120 for it and then just kind of like it and then eventually drink it. This is one that I'm gonna go for quite often. I'm gonna reach off my bar quite often and grab this bottle because I know that I can replace it. I know that, it's not gonna break the bank to replace it. And again, I think anybody can enjoy this. I think whether you're just getting started in whiskey and you want to add something to it, great. If you want to just enjoy it as is, great. So this is a bottle I really think that a lot of people can enjoy, no matter what level of your bourbon journey that you're at. I think everybody would enjoy it. So speaking of enjoying it, let's finish this off. And until next time, I will see you on the next review. Cheers.